Mr. Clippers at Heads Up Cuts and Styles Barbershop and Salon, located at 110 El Bethel Road in the big city of Conway, South Carolina. I'm talking about the place where great staff, great atmosphere, and professionalism all come together. Yes, it's definitely a vibe. We service all ages and all hair types. To book an appointment, just head on over to mrclippers.booksy.com. Again, that's mrclippers.booksy.com. You can check out my work, you can check cost of services, and most importantly, check out those reviews. Man, I'm telling you, 5 stars. Listen, as a licensed professional barber with over 20 years of experience, this is what I do. You owe it to yourself to get the look that you want, the sharpness and the precision, just like you want it. Come on by Heads Up Barbershop and Salon and check out Mr. Clippers. It will be my pleasure to give you the service that you deserve.
Surprise, surprise. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mike Robinson, and this is a special mid-afternoon episode of Let's Take a Walk. I hope everybody's doing okay and having an awesome day so far. Today, we are sitting down with Miss Steph Wood. She is an entrepreneur. She is just an all-around creative, an activist of sorts. She's here. We're going to sit down and talk about her new venture. Well, it's not really a new venture. It's more of a reinvention of her classic invention. All Good Creative.
You're so right there. Always Good Creative Branding.
Always
agency.
Good Creative Branding.
Right.
We're going to talk to her about the who's, what's, and whys of the organization, of the movement, and just kind of pick her brain. She's not new to the platform. She is definitely a vet. Mm-hmm. So it's good to see her on again. But for those of you who may not be familiar with her movement, I'm going to give her a moment to kind of reintroduce herself and give a little background to who she is and some of the things that she has going on at this current moment. So with that being said, you got the floor.
Mike, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
hello to everyone tuning in. It's really my pleasure to be back with you. I haven't seen you in a while. And it's really good to be home visiting here in Virginia, and also like just kind of back doing what I love doing and back in the space where I just love what I do. Like that's the only thing I can say right now is that I feel great. I am loving what I'm doing. I'm loving being back. I like the post-COVID era much better than the COVID era. It's definitely been better for business. But yeah, I'm back. I've relaunched sort of my business building / marketing management firm. It is Always Good Creative Agency. It's a creative branding agency. And what we do is really, we just take people's visions and concepts and ideas and build them into brands that people want to buy. And then we sell those brands, we manage those brands, and we help increase sales and revenues for companies, and essentially just be the tie-in to everything that company needs. One-stop shop for marketing, management, business ideas, scaling, just anything that company needs. We are there for them all the way. So it's been fun being back, and it's been really great to have a lot of my old clients back. So that's really cool too.
Okay. So as you said, it's already, as I said earlier, this was kind of a relaunch of sorts, a reinvention. Why?
Yeah.
First of all, why the reinvention, and why now?
Yeah. The reinvention is because the first time I had my firm, I had it for 15 years. I built businesses for 15 years and I just loved it. And it was everything. And I lost that. COVID was not kind to that. It was like losing a child.
Mhm.
And the reason why it failed, and I'm not ashamed, it failed because I didn't have a marketing plan. Imagine that. Like I do marketing plans. That's what I
Right.
do, right? But
Right.
I didn't have one. And the reason I
Wow.
didn't have one was because I worked straight off referral for that long, Mike. Like
Wow.
I'd worked off referral for 15 years and made a living, you
Wow.
know? And when everybody stopped working in 2019 and 2020, excuse me, with COVID and people started pausing their initiatives, I was the man out. I was the contract worker. I was the one that was taking the 10%, the 15%, whatever. And that just was not feasible for my clients anymore. And they let me go
Mm.
and they went out on their own. And that's great. Everybody had to do what they had to do in that time. So I was bitter. I was hurt. I was like, man, this stinks. Like, how am I going to ever get my life back? How am I going to ever find that space where I'm in doing what I'm supposed to be doing, what God has purposed me to do, but also, making a living and an honest, good living. And so I tried the straight job for a little while. I couldn't do it. I'm not made for it. I was not made to work for someone else. I was made to work for myself.
Mm.
So I kept having something pull on my heart, like, just get back to it. Like, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Get back to it. So that's what I did. I relaunched it. It's better than it's ever been. It's definitely making more money. So that's nice. And it's started off in a different area. We started just by managing businesses and now we come at it from a marketing, brand management, sales type area where everyone wants to make more money. Everybody's business wants to do better. Everybody wants grants. Everybody needs funding. And that's what we're best at, increasing revenues and sales. So that's the change is because I'm back, but I wanted to do it better.
Of course, you had social media before now,
Mm-hmm.
but how would you say that social media has changed since you stopped and now you're starting again?
100%.
And how so?
100%. So social, as far as marketing, social media marketing, or
Right.
just social
Right.
media in general?
Right. Exactly. Well, actually, both. I guess it can
Okay,
go more.
so social media honestly explodes every single day. There's something new that comes out every single day. And I think that's the thing that I find fascinating about it. And literally something new is coming every day. The biggest change for me is that the normal methods of just reaching people in certain places are just not cutting it anymore. Like, you're just not going to get the return you need unless you're doing some ad work. You've got to understand the key spaces where digital ads can help your business. And you got to kind of get on it before it's too late. The longer we wait to use social media in terms of advertising, not just relevant content sharing, not just regular, hey, I'm on Facebook today and I shared something, let me share it again and share it again. I'm talking about like intensive ad campaigns. If you're not doing that, you're not tapping into everything that is out there for your business. And you're leaving some money on the table. So I would say that social media has obviously transformed what I do and what others like me do, but it's also something that you can't predict, and you cannot throw all your eggs into it at one time, because there are still marketing efforts that are better than social media.
Okay. Like?
Top 3 marketing strategies are going to be storytelling, going to be word of mouth. It's still going to be that person next door saying, hey, I bought this from this person and they're the best. Go buy it too.
Okay.
That is still real life. And email marketing is still one of the top 5. Social
Wow.
media relevant content is just not going to do it. You really do need to be in a digital ad space. And what's more is if you've got a business that you really want to sell, you need to have someone driving that.
Mhm.
It's one thing to get up every day and operate your business, right? Mike, you have to get up every day, go to work, you're operating your business.
Right.
That's not marketing your business. You still got to find time and energy and capital to market your company. It's
Absolutely.
important. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when we're speaking about the, the change from the way it was marketed before and now, how has it affected your business positively, negatively? Is it easier to maneuver? Is it harder to maneuver? Have you had to become more resourceful or creative? Well, I mean, how has it affected you, your business?
Yeah. Yes, yes, and yes. All those things. If you're gonna pivot, it's like I was taught, like when I was a basketball player and a coach for years, and my coach would always say, if you get to the paint, you only got a couple options before you get posterized.
Hmm.
If you get to the paint, you either got to pass, you either got to pivot, or you got to pump fake. And the harder the pivot, the harder the pass, or the harder the pivot, the harder the pump fake gives us a more open shot.
Mhm.
You've got to be a little crafty when you get into the paint and things start to get a little hairy. And you're right. When you're starting a new business, that's a hairy thing, right? When you are revamping something, you're in the weeds. You are working hard, you are grinding hard, you are, getting after it on all these levels. So you're in the thick of it. And when you're in there, you got to pivot.
Right.
And you got to pivot hard. And a part of that pivot is learning those new things. So instead of my original company being from a management perspective, I revamped it to go from a marketing perspective.
Okay.
And that gave the leverage that I needed in order to gain the business, because everyone thinks that they can manage their business, right? And most can, but not a lot of people really know how to market it and what goes into marketing your business across all channels. So a hard pivot for sure. And then a complete change in like strategy for where I advertise, how I advertise, and then making sure that when I'm in front of my clients that they know the myriad of all the things that we offer.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mike. I have to let somebody in. Sorry.
Is there in this industry that you're
Mm-hmm.
in the current space that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm trying to figure out how to frame this question.
Take your time.
What's what how do you fit? And what I mean by that is like, is there a set way of promoting every business, or does every, I guess what I'm saying is that does everybody basically do the same thing, but does everybody do the same thing as far as as far as marketing, but they're just trying to do it better than one another? Or is there really a divide when it comes to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The next company, does the next company really do anything that's much different than what you're doing, and vice versa?
So how Always Good Creative stands out as a better idea is because of our track record.
Mhm.
To answer your first question, not every business is going to market in the same way.
Mhm.
We spend a lot of time talking over strategies with owners, brands, especially individual branding when the product is a person. Everyone's needs are different, right?
Mhm.
If you're unsure what you should be marketing or how you should be marketing or what channels you should be using, my favorite word is to diversify that, to make sure that your marketing plans cover multiple channels,
Mhm.
a lot more than just social media. but a myriad of direction, like email marketing, word of mouth, getting in front of people, sharing information, creating content creation, videos, audio, all those pieces, right? That's going to be different for every business. Our strength is our result. And the fact that our experience lends to a better process and a better service across the board.
Okay.
Since I've been in business for myself, we've written grants to exceed $6 million.
Wow.
We've been able to get funding for businesses in excess of 60,000 on business plan contest awards. You get with somebody like us, you're going to increase sales at minimum 35% in 3 months.
Wow.
Like, it's just going to happen, you know? So how are we different? We're different because we're special, and we're specialized. We do really take on our client as our brand that we have to manage and sell.
Wow.
I don't know if that answers your question,
Yeah,
but
absolutely. Absolutely.
okay.
I mean, to kind of further expand on that, I guess maybe depending on whatever industry that your client is in, is there such thing as over promotion or over advertising or over
Well, I think
marketing?
that, marketing is always, it's always, the tone of your marketing has got to be set by your total increase in sales. Like, people think of marketing as something that is almost, they fly by night it too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, I have an event and I need to market for this event. But that's not a total snapshot of all of their marketing and initiatives. And they really haven't even sat down to think about how much money they want to spend on marketing per year.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, well, I don't have enough money to market. Well, there's a lot of ways to market without spending any money. And if you're marketing, you're increasing your sales. So you kind of almost have to do it. All right.
Right.
But I would say that being said, most companies are going to spend between 8 and 15% of all of their sales on marketing.
Mm.
So if you're not making any money, first of all, you're in a hobby and you need to rethink whether you should be in business at all.
Right. Right.
If you're making money, then if you're bringing in money, then you should be making money. Let's be clear that bringing in money is not the same as making it. You can bring in $100,000, but if you spend $100,000, you haven't made anything.
Facts.
But if you're bringing in $100,000 a year, you really should be spending 10 grand, 15 grand on marketing to generate more income.
Wow. Okay.
I think that marketing is such a strange phenomenon for most people because they don't really know what it entails. So they don't spend enough time to really sit down and go, okay, I have $3,000 in my bank account right now. I gross that. Why not spend $300 more on ads to then make another 3,000 or to make another 10,000? But people don't think that way. Most of the time when there's extra money in a small business, the small business owner is taking that because they have broken their back to start their business, or they're brand new. So they're taking that income to live.
Right.
But if they would just take a little bit of that and throw it into an actual advertising campaign, not just sharing information or social media spitting it out, but an actual campaign that will generate not only search ads, but display ads and get you some actual real outcomes,
Wow. Wow. So what would you say? Would you say that that's the biggest or the most glaring mistake that business owners or, aspiring business owners make is the lack of attention to marketing? Would you say that that's the
I
biggest?
definitely think it's in the top 5. If I had to run down 5 problems that most of my businesses run into, I can hit them for you right now. I always like to work with minority businesses, disenfranchised owners, Black and brown people. That's my niche. And like that one thing, like they're just behind the 8 ball. Like you're starting your initiative and you're dead last in the race already.
Okay.
And that stinks, right?
That's a fact.
But all of my clients deal with that. Okay. That's their first hurdle, is that they're starting a race that they're already last place in. Okay. Number 2, they don't have enough capital to start, and they don't realize how much capital they need. 3, they have no marketing system at all. They're really just sharing information blindly, and they're tapping into their immediate resource, which is whoever's close to them, whether that's in proximity or relation. They're tapping into that, but when they're trying to sell on a bigger scale, they don't get outside of that and begin to spend ad dollars. And that's where you pull away from the pack, because sister friend, homie, sweet boyfriend, they're going to help do whatever you want. Right.
Right.
But that's not going to scale your business. You got to spend some money outside of your network. And then I would say number 4 is there's no reporting. So they don't have any idea how much money they are making.
Right.
They're not reporting it anywhere. They're not recording it anywhere. They're not writing it down. There is no Excel spreadsheet. When I take on a new client, my first thing I ask is, what were your gross receipts last year? And if they can't tell me in 10 minutes, I'm not trying to work with them, because that means they're not serious about their business.
Wow.
They're not serious about their business and scaling it and making it better so that they can make more money, so that they can then help more people. They're not serious about it. They're playing. Because if you're serious, you're going to put your stuff in a document where if you happen to come across Damon Dash or whoever, some big name like Shark Tank, like what if you walked into Mark Cuban? Could you pull it up on your thing if you had an elevator pitch and be like, look, this is how much money I made last year? That's how fast as a business owner you have to be able to access your records. So those are the top 5, I think, that people run into problems when they start their own business. And then if you're not recording, there is no measurement. You can't possibly know if you're doing better than you were.
Wow. You just, you said a mouth. I'm sorry,
I talk a lot.
I hope you stepped on a lot of toes just now.
Well, I don't mean to. I
get it.
I don't mean to, but I don't know any other way, Mike.
Absolutely. Going forward. Okay. I'm a aspiring I'm a music artist. I'm an aspiring music artist. Okay. Yeah. I'm grassroots. I'm independent. You know what I'm saying? A few people in my neighborhood know who I am. I've done a few events here and there, a few talent shows or whatever. But in my general vicinity, people know who I am or whatever. But I want to expand on my brand. What can you do for me? Like what can I expect for you from
there's
you?
There's a lot of things that go on. When I think of business management, brand management, career management, these are all different things. So when I meet someone that's an artist, so if it's a music artist, my first thing is, you are your own product. You are your own brand. So be sure that number 1, you have someone that is coaching you through that brand. Okay. That you fully have an understanding of not just your talent and your music, but your person, your brand, your self-awareness, the identity that you're going to be portraying, that your place, where you're selling that you know the position in which you need to sell it, that you've got someone driving that. And for an artist, I've managed music artists. I managed K Major for a little while. Kenny B Speaks is a motivational speaker. I managed celebrity chef Jacoby Ponder for a while. I produced a couple morning shows. And one thing is the same about every kind of artistic person is they have got to have a brand manager that is covering the brand, protecting the brand, but is also close enough to the artist that they can trust that person. So it's kind of like career management has transitioned into brand management across the board. You can expect things like bookings. You can expect things like booking management platforms in order to make sure that you're getting in front of the right people, that you have systems in place to collect data so that you can go back and sell to your tribe. You know, you need to create, you know, we have created fan groups and different tribes of people to come into one place. We'd help create a following. We'd help upkeep that following, you know, putting you in front of people that you need, aligning you with partnerships, you know, do this event here with this chef, do that thing over here with this, I don't know, clothing person, you know? And then also I would think one of the most important things is you could count on AG Creative to diversify your brand and to align it so that you can then extend. And that's where you really get into where you're making an impact across channels. Like when you can be an artist and be a musician, but then extend your brand over here to a coffee or a vodka or I don't know, whatever event whatever partnership, music, business, I don't know, you align in those right spaces. And that's what you can get from us.
So you in essence, like, what if it's something that you're not familiar with? I mean, you know, an industry that you're not familiar with. Then what?
Well, the good thing is we've been in a lot of different spaces, and there's a few industries we haven't been a part of yet, but we never say no. So we just leverage our partners who have been in those spaces. We also feel like, you know, if it's too much, we don't, if it's too much to chew, we don't want to bite it off. But at the same time, we got some people that can chew that big stuff too. So we can leverage it. And brand management is brand management is brand management. There are keys to that to be successful that are across the board, no matter what you're selling.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that this is a subject that a lot of business people, business folks, and we just don't discuss at all. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that with Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you know, you name it, those mediums, we feel like we cover all of our bases. However, like you said, you know, we're not even really scratching the surface of what we could be.
Really
We kind
not.
of sell ourselves short. Even in the Bible, it talks about how Jesus had to go away from his hometown in order for his movement to even be recognized and respected. He said when he came back to his own hometown, he was able to do a few miracles, but he couldn't do anything in its totality because people just saw him as the carpenter's son. You know, that's Joseph's boy. You know, that's just Jesus, basically. That's just Emmanuel, you know, whatever. And do you find that that's the type of thing that people run into in your industry? Because I feel like as a business owner and as a you know, a music artist in my past, I found that you have to, for whatever reason, you have to leave home first and then come back, because if you don't, you don't get the support until you go away, and somebody else has to recognize you, in other words, in order for you to
say that. Say that.
So you know, what are your thoughts on that?
I would say this. First, let me say, As an entrepreneur and as a creative, you have got to be able to bloom where you're planted. Okay. If you cannot pick up and move to another state, start all over and land on your feet, you don't have the juice.
Okay.
I'm just being real. Okay. If you got the juice, you should be able to drive anywhere, pull up, and set up. And I think it is necessary to do that. For me, I didn't want to leave this area. I didn't want to leave home. Are you kidding me? I love Hampton Roads. Like, it is one of my most favorite places on the entire planet, right? My kid is here. You know, all the businesses we started all those years are here, still thriving, right? Didn't want that. But God has other plans. So you head to a place called Florida, and it's just completely different demographics. And you're just, for me, it was like, all right, let's go. And that's what I did. And I think that starting Always Good Creative there was very smart. And I am experiencing that love now that I'm back. I'm back and forth. Like, I'm not here all the time. So it's here, Atlanta, Florida. Those are the main places because I've got people in Florida. I have a pretty big client in Atlanta, Kenny B Speaks. And, I have my people here. So I do feel more love, like, since I've been like open for business here. And I do feel that cosign that you speak of. I feel that. But I also know that when you do a good job, people miss you.
Right. Wow.
If you do a good job, people will miss you. Just do a good job. But I do feel that love, and I do feel that it has and will continue to propel that success here as I replant and get tapped back into some clients here, which I've already got a few back on board. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome.
Thank you.
What would you say if you can name one thing? What would you say is the one thing that you may have learned about yourself in this process that you may not have known prior to going back in, I should say? What's the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself?
Got it. God gives us a lot of things that we're good at. We tap into those things. We can make money off that. Okay. I knew that all along, right? But the thing I learned about myself, and people would tell me this, Steph, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like,
that's a fact.
There are times when it's time to say goodbye to a career.
Right.
And there is time when it's just time for you to thrive in your best possible position scenario. And I learned that while I am good at coaching basketball, I am good at teaching softball, I can sing, I like to act. Yes, I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I can produce. I can do talk shows. I can, right? But should I really?
Right.
Or maybe I should just be self-aware enough and surround myself with the people who are going to mess with me for what I'm really good at and put me on for that.
Okay.
I think that sometimes your own circle can be your biggest downfall if they're too jealous of you to love you.
Wow.
And I think for me, I needed to be in a place and surround myself with clients who were just as concerned about me succeeding as I am concerned about them.
Wow.
So no, don't do it all, guys. I mean, I think there was a time when I said, do it all. Don't do it all. But don't do it if you have to do it with people who don't love you don't do it.
Hmm. That's an interesting take. You said, would you say
If they're jealous of you, they cannot love you.
they're too jealous to love you.
They're
Wow.
too jealous of you to love you.
Wow. I mean, I think that kind of goes back to, what we were talking about just a second ago about having to go away
Mm-hmm.
and then come back. I think sometimes, people are either too familiar with you to take you serious, or like you said, they may be too envious of you to support you. Like
It's a lot of reasons. Yeah.
I cannot believe, I can't be part of the reason that this person is successful. I won't be a part of the reason that this person is successful for whatever reason. That's very, very that's very, very interesting. And the thing is that the person doesn't always think that he or she is that way.
They don't. And I think that that's the other thing. I had to become extremely more self-aware than I ever was before. But it's not little old Hampton Roads anymore that I'm living in. It's the biggest state on the East Coast, with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people within an hour of each other. And it's like the spread out Manhattan. So if you can make it in Florida, you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Right.
But how about this for you? How lovely it was to go there and for people to just see my pedigree and respect me off that.
Wow. That's good.
That was powerful for me. That was powerful. And it was empowering. It was, we don't care. We like you, you rock with us, I rock with you. I'm with it. And that's invaluable when people recognize you off rip. When you walk into a room and they know there's no selling, there's nothing you have to do. And I felt that. And I felt it gave me confidence and a boost that I really needed, because when COVID came around and people started shutting down, I was the first to go. And it's like, how is that possible? Like, I made you all this money, but they couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing anyone could do about it here.
Right.
Florida's wide open.
Right.
So it was out of necessity sometimes that you have to shift and pivot.
Right.
But it's something to go somewhere and you don't have to introduce yourself. Like, I don't know. It sounds like a cliche, but it felt great, Mike. I'm not even gonna lie. And it gave me the want to come and embrace old clients. It gave me the want to kind of run it back a little bit and increase that fullness when I'm here to visit. I wanted to get back in the game.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And it's also very courageous, because you can't possibly know for sure the reception that you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? And then like I said, a lot of time has passed, and things have changed and updated and upgraded. And so somebody could be like, well, that was cool then, but I have this way now, and it works for me.
Yeah.
But so that's absolutely a courageous path, and I definitely take my hat off to you on that.
Thank you, friend.
So if you could have it your way, like in Steph's perfect world, where do you see ACG going or being?
I'm always going to be best when I'm in service
AGC,
to someone's, huh?
AGC, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I always feel my best when I'm in service to a vision, mission, a brand, a cause. It's funny that you said activist, because My little activist button was triggered when I was at my city job, and I was like, I can't be here because I'm just gonna end up like holding a whole protest.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
they're gonna call, like, I need to get out of here because if I see an injustice, you know what I mean? Like as soon as I see an injustice, I'm on it. I'm like, that's not fair.
Right. I understand. Absolutely.
So with that, I don't even know why I was getting ready. I started to talk about that, but I got off the track. What was the question? I'm sorry. I started thinking about that. I could see myself folding my fist and being like, no.
I was asking, I was like, if you could have it your way, like,
oh, my way. So I'm
speed.
always gonna be best when I'm in service, when I'm pushing a brand, and living in that space to put people on. Like that's my goal in life, right? But I really do want for Always Good Creative to just be solid and to affect change across the channels for every single one of our clients, whether that be change in increase of sales, whether that be change in processes, systems, like whatever we need to do in order to meet that need. I want to do that. And that's going to propel us. Like for everyone out there listening, like success should not be a goal. That's just the outcome.
Right.
No, you've got to be goal oriented. So for me, success is just the thing that's the outcome of all the stuff we're doing in between. And my goal for AG Creative is I want to be able to back to my 6-figure income. Like I miss it. I miss my income. It took me a long time to generate that kind of income for myself, to build up my business where I had that kind of income, and I want that back. I'm being selfish about that. And I encourage every entrepreneur out there to know what your goal is monetarily. And if you're saying, well, I don't have a goal monetarily, again, you have a hobby. Like you have a hobby, you don't have a business. So I have financial goals. I want my receipts to be at a certain level. I want to eventually have a northern client, like that's another goal. I want to be in Boston, Virginia, Atlanta, and Florida. And I'm in Atlanta, Florida, and Virginia. So I just need two clients in Boston, and then I'm solid, and I just literally want to be that go-to for anyone that needs business stuff. That's what I want.
Okay. So I was just sitting here, as I'm sitting here thinking as we're talking, right? I'm thinking about like back in the day when a rapper was trying to come out or whatever, they had street teams where they would go out to all the cities. They get in the car and go out to the cities and just hand out tapes or CDs or whatever the medium was at that time, hand to hand. Are those old school types of marketing still valid in today's?
It's the best kind. It's the best kind. Word of mouth is still in the top 3 marketing strategies for businesses today. Like, it is still good to do that. And I'll tell you this, I don't know about you guys, but I see the poor service that has been created post-pandemic. Like, you can't even go to a restaurant nowadays and get it the way you want it in the best way that you want it. Like, people just are not concerned about service as much as they used to be. So if you're the type of business that cares about that, like I do, that's going to set you apart. It's the thing that you're offering that nobody else does.
Right.
So that right there, that's a tactic that not a lot of artists would probably even use nowadays, right? But it could set them apart. So you think of, oh, well, it might just be kind of old school. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's my grand dog. Sorry.
No problem.
You might have an old school method, right? But then you try to morph it into a new school way. Okay, well, if we're handing out CDs, what do I hand out? Do I hand out little MP3 players with my song on it? Like, what is it that I do? Do I hand out a little iTunes gift card? Like, how is it that I still create that, but now for these times? And I do believe in that. I think those are great ways. Pop-up shops are great ways for artists to sell their stuff. You know, tapping into some of these online boutiques and different things is another way. But that you can never go wrong with just walking up to someone and being like, hey, how you doing?
Has there ever been or will there ever be a situation where you meet a client and you look at their business, you look at the infrastructure of their business, you look at what they have going on, and in your mind, you just don't see it. You know, as a business, do you still work with them, or
do I tell them that they don't have a business?
Yeah, like do you say, listen, you know, that dog walking business that you got, it's trash. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, that grass cutting business you're trying to do,
that's not gonna do it.
You can't. You need an electric lawnmower, not to push. You know, I mean, like. Well, what do you do in those situations?
Well, I do believe. Let me just first say, Mike, and I'm sorry again. Somebody is needing to fix their refrigerator. I am such a jerk for this. Come on in. I know you got to do your thing, but I'm on a Zoom, so you're gonna have to kind of be quiet. Jojo, stop. Sorry about this, Mike. I did not expect this. Jojo! Stop it. This is my life. Hey, and I'm not afraid. This is my life. Like when you work for yourself and you own your own time, you just never know what's going to happen in my world. And I'm just not even embarrassed by it anymore. You know what I mean? Like you just never know. Right. So I was somewhere the other day and we had a Zoom, and like the next thing I knew, two of my little girl softball players were like walking in the back of it. I'm like, but, first of all, I do know that if God has given you a vision, there is a provision. Okay, I do know that. So who am I, or who is any branding agency or any marketing agency to tell you that your business isn't going to work, right? It's my job to make it work. Okay, and it's my job as a brand manager, and it's our purpose to make you money. That's our purpose. So what we have to do is we have to take what you say to us, and we have to discern whether you're barking up a good tree, right? And if you're barking up a good tree, we just got to teach you to bark better. And we got to put processes in place so that you can be successful. I always tell everyone that starts a business, you need a plan. Okay. You need a plan. That's number one. You don't need money. You need a plan, and you need a way to make a product fast and in a hurry so that you can sell that product or service right away. Everybody wants to start their business and they have all these ideas, and that's great. And you should have all your ideas carved out and make it plain, right? Write it down, make it plain, right? But you got to get to market with a product or a service first.
Right.
So after you're in that plan, then it becomes product development, service development. And who am I or any other person to tell someone that what the idea in their brain isn't going to work for them?
That's a fact.
It's our job to make sure that it does work for them. And if we do our job, if your marketing agency, if your management agency, if your coach, your consultant, if they do their job, then you will be successful. If they don't do their job, you won't be successful. And
maybe not necessarily.
You won't be successful long term. You won't be able to sustain it.
Right. Like maybe not necessarily that you don't believe in the business itself in a vacuum, but more so you're looking at what they have. And you're looking at it and you're like, this is just not enough. You're not giving me enough. You know what I'm saying? And in those moments, what do you do? Like,
in those moments, with our clients, for me specifically, I really just like to be 100% transparent. I like to say, hey, listen, if your outcome is $30,000 in your first year, that's your only goal, then we got to make a plan in order for you to make that. And this right here is not going to be enough. I think that if you trust your brand manager, if you trust the person that's in your corner, it's going to be an easy thing to do. If you're in a situation where you don't really trust your brand manager or your consultant or whatever the case may be, it's harder to listen to them. It's harder to buy into what they're saying, right? Because as a business owner, I have a vision for my own business, right?
Right.
You have a vision for your own business, right?
Right.
Everybody has a vision. And what sometimes we come across is that our vision is bigger for them than theirs is, or they only see certain parts of their vision. We
Right.
see the other part.
Okay.
So we have to bring them to the water. You know, we have to bring them to a place where they understand, yeah, they got the juice, but that's not all they need, because talent is never enough.
Right.
Never. So sometimes it's a tough conversation. I'll be honest. Sometimes it's, hey, you're not in a position right now, right? But we can set you up to be in a position. And I would say that that's the biggest challenge, is to be in the right position to make the moves that you need to make. Putting your business, setting it in the right space. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It makes perfect sense.
We have to drag them to it sometimes.
Right. And again, these are conversations that the average small business owner, independent business owner, these are conversations. This is not even a subject that's even really discussed. And I really feel like this needs to be brought to the forefront more. You know what I'm saying? We have a product. Like this is from my t-shirt brand. I created this. So I'm looking at it in and of itself, saying, this is a fly shirt. You know, anybody would, you know what I'm saying? What else do I need? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how a lot of people think. And that's great, you know, to have that confidence. But as you said, there are aspects that we don't think about, that we don't see. And then sometimes, again, like you said, you know, if we're lit in a certain demographic or a certain region in our region, then that's enough for us sometimes, because that's who we're trying to impress anyway.
The impressing people syndrome. Yeah.
Right. So that's who we're trying to, you know, make an impression on in the first place anyway. But then, like I said, you know, just this whole conversation really is a conversation that many business owners just don't have. You know what I'm saying? This is not a subject that we discuss, because we feel like I said, in a vacuum, the quality of the product, or the perceived quality of the product, takes care of everything else. You know what I'm saying? It sells itself.
I hear you, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, it's kind of like Lamborghini, like you've never seen a Lamborghini commercial. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, some things are just, you know, they just are.
Yes.
You know, so
you're right.
I think that is super important.
But I think what people have to understand is, if somebody wants to start a business and their goal is to make money, okay, of course, that's the goal, right?
Yep.
In order to know what makes money, you have to know what's valuable to people.
Right.
So a shirt, right? A merchandise line, right? That's a good business to have, but to realize the scale that business has to hit in order for it to make money and to sustain that is not a concept that someone in a bubble or a vacuum can really even get.
Right.
Because that's an awesome shirt. But do you know how many of those shirts you have to sell in order for you to make a living off of selling shirts? Quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I try to tell people is that's an awesome idea. Is that idea for marketing? Is that an idea for promotion? Or is that an idea to make you a profit? Because you can do any business idea you want. Like that shirt right there, that's a great shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just made that shirt because that's your that's your Bible verse and you went for it, right? But what if that shirt was also then used for promotion of something? What if it was a free gift to everybody that came on your show versus you trying to sell it?
Right.
Like if you're trying to if you want to if someone is trying to do, not you, but if someone is trying to do clothing, merch, different things like that, they need to understand that that is going to be more of a cost than it's going to be a help. Especially on a smaller scale. And at the end of the day, you're just going to have t-shirts. But if you use that t-shirt in your marketing and promotional materials, if you use it in conjunction with a service, then you're getting the most out of it.
Right.
You know, you can make a couple $100 on any t-shirt campaign you want to do, right? You can write up a t-shirt and design it, buy them, sell it, right? That's great, right? But you can't repeat that and you can't scale it unless you have systems, stores, online stuff, marketing, right? So it's just, again, it's a marketing or a promotional item at that point.
Right. Wow.
It covered you for a little while, right? You made $300 on it, but $300 ain't no kind of money.
Right. Right.
I mean, you can't get out of the grocery store for less than $175 nowadays. And you don't even get anything.
Right. Right.
But you put that shirt in 300 people's hands, that's different, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely a fact. That is absolutely a fact. But again, like I said, this is a conversation that not enough of us, business owners, small business owners, it's kind of like it's a wide open secret. I guess the larger entities understand it, which is why they're the larger entities. You know what I mean? Those are some of the things that they employ. That's a consistent expense. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we, like I was telling a guy Friday, he has a faith-based clothing brand called Concrete Eden. Shout out to
very
Stephen,
cool. I love that name. Concrete Eden. That is dope.
With a K. Check out his website. He has a lot of dope stuff on there. We were talking about the competition. Like, yeah, he does sneakers and he does boots, and so you're in essence competing with the Nikes and the Reeboks and the Adidas of the world. And so that can be a bit overwhelming in thought. You know what I mean? Because you're going up against a lifestyle brand. Many of us grew up on these things. Many of us cut grass and cleaned rooms and did, prayed for Christmas, these things for Christmas and birthdays, and what I'm saying, these and so in essence, these things have been a part of our lives. And then you're trying to sell me something that's totally out of what I'm used to. And so marketing is, for him, is absolutely a must. Let me before we sign off, I got another question. Brand ambassadors.
Yep.
Somebody to endorse your product or your service or whatever? Like how do you come into play with that?
Again, those are one of those partnership marketing initiatives, and we just help solidify that. A lot of times for our clients, they just need a go-between.
Mhm.
They need someone to be in the room, to be able to talk the talk, to be able to look out for them, make sure that their brand ambassador agreement is solid. That if they're the one being the brand ambassador or if they're the one getting brand ambassadors, we step in that position to solidify the agreement and just to be sure that that is what the client really wants.
Right.
It's not a bad way to market your company at all. That is kind of like the technological word of mouth way, kind of, so to speak.
Right.
So it's very good. But again, for something like that to be lucrative, you've got to have a ton of followers, and you've got to be very active. And marketing ads are still going to be important when you're doing that, for
Wow.
sure. Mhm.
Okay. So we are on Let's Take a Walk, and I'm sitting here with Miss Steph Woods. And we've talked about everything as far as marketing and promotion and just being running your business in the most effective and efficient way in order to reach as many as we can and to network with as many as we can to become as successful and relevant as we can, possibly be. And again, like I've been saying, this is a conversation that definitely needs to be had more than this, because this is something that we generally don't think about. We hit the ground running with whatever it is that we're trying to promote, or whatever we're trying to get people to consume, but we don't think about what it takes to get these things out in front of people.
I say to you, Mike, I want to just put this bug in your ear, entrepreneurs, and I want to look right at the screen. Guys, stop going for the shiny thing. Okay, stop it. All right. You want to align with this person because they wear these shoes. You want to align with this business because it looks shiny. You want to go over here and do this because it's all shiny and it sparkles, and that's great. What you need is real hard workers in your schedule and on your team. That's what you need.
Wow.
You need hard workers who are diligent, who are going to follow through for you, follow up for you, who are going to be out front pushing. If you're going to be if you want to get a brand manager or hire marketing, you need to have someone that's in that foxhole with you. All right. Which means they've got to be able to roll up their sleeves, and they can't be too shiny in order to get work done. Okay. So think about that a little bit. Like, not everything that sparkles is gold,
Right.
and not every partnership is good. Those two things to consider as you're trying to choose who to do business with, how to move, who to connect with, and who to trust with your brand,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So this is my final question. I
Okay.
think I believe I asked you this the last time you were on, but it's been a while, so maybe you have changed your answer. And we actually kind of briefly touched on it earlier in the interview, but here we go.
Okay.
The question is, what would happen? What would have to happen in your life, if it has not happened already, for you to consider your life a success? What does success look like for you specifically?
If I die tomorrow, I'm okay.
Mm.
If I die tomorrow, I'm okay. I have a successful child. I've launched or been a part of launching or building 63 companies.
Mm.
I've helped countless entrepreneurs achieve their goals. I have a family. I have friends that love me. I have a God I serve. I have faith. I'm good. No regrets.
No regrets. Awesome. Okay. So what's next for AGC?
So I have a new book coming out. I do have a new book coming out. It's called Get Up Underdog. and it accompanies my talk that I've been giving. I gave a talk to West Georgia University softball. I give a talk tomorrow out at Paul D. Camp Community College to their softball program, and I do still occasionally give talks, and that book will be coming out. Get Up Underdog. I'm excited about that. I've got some new products coming out for some marketing pieces and things, and I'm also going to be doing a course series with Kenny B Speaks. Marketing and management, different things like that. So, just another day, another initiative. And yeah, those are the couple of things that are coming up. I'll be back here sometime in April and then again in June. So I will be doing some consulting and different things when I'm back. So maybe we can link up and get some food and talk a little business. But yeah, that's what's next for me. Just definitely quality over quantity this time. I definitely want bigger clients, and I've gotten bigger clients that are buying more services than just like regular old like one-offs here and there. Like definitely want more quality versus quantity. And yeah, it's so far so good. So yeah, I just got a few new products coming out and going to be launching some things for a couple clients in the next future. Just launched Vibe Tribe University for Kenny B Speaks. And yeah, so we've been getting after it.
Awesome. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, get some advice or become a potential client or whatever, how can they get in touch with you?
So you can text me. I have a new phone number. I'll give it now, 386-689-2754. You can also email me at alwaysgoodcreative@gmail.com, or just go straight to our website at alwaysgoodcreative.com. And I'm sorry, alwaysgoodcreative@gmail.com for the email, and then alwaysgoodcreative.com for the website. If you go there now, you can sign up for a free ebook, Prepare to Profit, and download it and get that, and then go from there. We have great packages. We have commission packages, which means you do a little up front and then we take percentage on the back end. We do full-on career management, 20% on everything you get. Like we do all of it, so we work a deal best suited for the client, and then we just go to work on your behalf. Nice.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your sharing your new venture, your revamped venture with us. I definitely learned a lot, and I'm sure that those that chose to watch definitely learned something from that. Do you have any last parting words you want to leave with the public?
I don't know. I would just kind of reiterate, if they're jealous of you, they don't love you. And you need to understand that. And if they're in competition with you, then you should know they're just trying to cut you. And if they're trying to cut you, then you got to perform better. Don't compete back. Just perform better.
Wow.
Competition is an internal thing. Performance is internal. If you're out here trying to compete against guys that are been doing it for 20 years, forget it. Just be your best self. You just do better. Do better. Your outcomes will be better. You'll produce better things. That's the only way to win. Like you can't, it's not like sports. You're not LeBron. You don't have to meet someone on the court every night and go head to head. And I would say that most of those guys would tell you now, even the best athletes in all the world would tell you that they're competing with their own self, that every single day they wake up, they're looking at themselves and they're going, okay, I have to outwork what you did yesterday.
Right.
And so long as you can keep that at the forefront, you'll be a successful entrepreneur. You'll be someone who is still in business year after year after year, and you'll be able to sustain, because you're always just worried about what you're doing. As soon as you try to compete, then you're worried about what they're doing. And competition is not an outside job.
Wow. Well,
that's all I got.
I definitely thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And as you already know, this is an open door for you anytime.
Thank you so much for getting me on so fast. You're awesome, Mike. Thank you.
No problem at all. You're my peeps.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely I take my hat off to you revamping and
Thank you,
relaunching
friend.
the brand.
Thank you.
And I truly wish you much blessings on everything that you have going on and everything that you're about to have going on.
Thank you.
Continue to, be purposeful and, do your thing. And
Yes, sir.
like you said, success will be the outcome.
Right. Well, it's just like I told you, like when we linked back up, I was like, you're still doing this. And I'm so glad because so many people started this type of thing during COVID and then just like, we're like, it's over now. We're fine now, but you're still doing it. And I love that. I've seen the improvement, the growth, like just you're taking the steps. Like every time I see something on your page or something you're doing, it looks good. It looks better every time.
Right.
And you're moving in the right direction. So congratulations on all of your success. And thank you so very much for giving me the opportunity to share what I've been doing. And
no problem at all.
my cup runneth over.
No problem at all. Well, you have an awesome rest of the day and safe travels here and there and everywhere.
Yes, sir. Stay in touch. Thank you, everybody. It was great to see everyone.
See ya. So there you have another awesome episode with another awesome guest. Shout out to Steph Woods and her movement, AGC. All good, always good, creative agency. Please go to her, check her page out. Call her if you have questions, if you need advice, anything. Just hit her up, man, and support the business. Support the business. That's what it's all about. Networking and pushing, people who are brave enough to step out into the marketplace and do great things, man. I definitely have respect, nothing but the utmost respect for those that do that. And I would encourage all of you, as I always do, if there's something that's, a vision that you have, if there's something that's keeping you up at night, if there's something that, that you're supposed to be doing, man, step out, man. Allow God to lead you and guide you. Don't worry about the provision because God will provide the provision to go along with the vision. And so just step out. Don't worry about who will support you and who won't, what people will think or not. You know what I'm saying? Just step out and watch, allow God to do what God does, So with that being said, man, I'm going to end this special episode today and just say thank you for coming on and being a witness and being a party to this great interview. And again, I shout out Miss Woods and her whole movement. Sky's the limit. So with that being said, man, you guys have a great rest of the day. And let's take a walk.
If you live in or plan to visit the great state of South Carolina and you find yourself anywhere near the Myrtle Beach area, you owe it to yourself to check out Mr. Clippers at Heads Up Cuts and Styles Barbershop and Salon, located at 110 El Bethel Road in the big city of Conway, South Carolina. I'm talking about the place where great staff, great atmosphere, and professionalism all come together. Yes, it's definitely a vibe. We service all ages and all hair types. To book an appointment, just head on over to mrclippers.booksy.com. Again, that's mrclippers.booksy.com. You can check out my work, you can check cost of services, and most importantly, check out those reviews. Man, I'm telling you, 5 stars. Listen, as a licensed professional barber with over 20 years of experience, this is what I do. You owe it to yourself to get the look that you want, the sharpness and the precision, just like you want it. Come on by Heads Up Barbershop and Salon and check out Mr. Clippers. It will be my pleasure to give you the service that you deserve.